Hi guys, it's Carl. It's been a while, and I'm here with a brand new series called Level Design Breakdown. And the reason why I've started this series is because a few people have actually asked me to make something like this, where I don't actually create a whole level from scratch. I just go through the sort of tips and tricks and things to do and things to avoid when making your levels. So for this first one, we're gonna create an encounter zone. The first 5 videos of this series will be creating an encounter zone. And for this particular video, we'll be going through what not to do when making an encounter room, and we'll sort of go into how to make it feel uneven. Alright, so the first thing that we need is a goal, a reason why a player should enter this room in the first place. This red cube here represents that goal. I called it prop prim for short for prop primitive, and all it is just a Unity primitive with a shader, colored shader, and that's going to represent our goal. So if I didn't have that, basically this room has just enemies in it. These four guys, those are our enemies. So let's take a look in game view. Kind of looks boring, and so we want to have that sort of we need a reason to actually go in here, otherwise we can just skip it and there's really no point. So let's put that cube back. Alright, so now that we have our goal cube back, this could be anything, by the way, in a game. It could be how we finish the level, it could be an ammo stockpile, it could be anything. Alright, it could be some sort of key to progressing the level or helping the player along. That's why each and every single room in your level has to have a purpose. It can't just be some sort of way that you can annoy the player further, if the game is designed to be annoying. Or maybe it's a hiding spot. Look, I don't know. But what the room has to have is a reason to be there. Otherwise, you're just sort of wasting time for the player. And really, nowadays, people don't want that. Actually, most people just prefer to play the multiplayer. In which case you still need to take that into account, right? You still need to give players a reason to enter a room, whether it's to jump into a fight to help another player on their team, or whether it's to avoid a fight altogether. But in this instance, we're going to take a look at it from a single player perspective, and we're going to pretend this is an ammo stockpile or some sort of reward, something like that. It doesn't really matter at this point. Now here's the problem. We have here one entrance and one exit. This is where things can get really bad for the player. The smart way to sort of solve this little puzzle, I guess it's some sort of puzzle, is also the most boring. We have absolutely no other way to go in apart from through this door. There is one thing that we could do, and that is we could add windows in. So I'm going to delete these two walls here. I'm going to add wall, window. I made these in my own 3D package, and you can do the same as well. It doesn't really matter in the end, I guess, because really it's up to you where you make your levels. I mean, you can make these from Unity primitives as well if you really wanted, but I did it in the 3D package. Alright, so here we go. I think that window there might be a bit too much. Just get rid of that. We'll replace it with a regular wall. Alright, so we've put in a few windows. It's alright. It gives the player a little bit of insight as to where they are or what the room has, what's in the room. If we just imagine for a second that this doorway had an actual door in it, we'd want to know what's inside the room. So let's pretend that that has a door and we can't actually see through it. By having windows in place, oh gosh, here's a bit short, 1.7, there we go, good enough. Sorry, 1.6, yeah, that's alright. So by looking at it here through these windows, we can sort of get an idea of what's in the room, right? And really that's what you want the players to have. You want to give the players a little bit of insight as to what's in it for them if they go into the room, if they decide to go into the room. I'm going to delete these two walls here because that's going to give me the next piece. Now obviously this still doesn't sort of change the fact that there's only one way in and one way out. We're just going to pretend that you can't jump through windows for argument's sake. Sometimes, and you know, you'll want to do this, right? Sometimes you want to be able to sneak in through the back and catch these four guys by surprise, especially because they're at the back of the room and you want to get the drop on them. So we get rid of that wall there and we duplicate that doorway and we stick it over here. So now if I had any coding, any programming on my camera, I'd be able to sort of play it and show you guys in real time, but sorry, I can't do that. I'm a little bit tired, so I'm gonna try and do as little coding as possible. So here we go. We have a second doorway, and well, if we again pretend that there's a door here, so we can't see through there, we don't know who's in there, we can sort of scoot around. Oh, there's four guys now. We can count that there are four guys in the room, and there's a reward there. But from this window, we can tell that there's another way in. We just have to make it obvious that they can go through that door. We can't just leave it sort of closed because, well, we have this alleyway here, and if we say that, oh, alright, we can assume that there's something there, but if it turns out that you can't actually go through that doorway, then there's really no point in having it there in the first place. You might as well just leave it a regular wall. Alright, so that's done. We've pretty much sort of checked all the boxes here for this particular video. We've sort of eliminated the one way in, one way out by adding in a second entrance. And we've sort of eliminated the, I guess, the sort of reason behind why a player shouldn't enter a room. Right? We've given them a reason to enter this reward box here. That could be, like I said, that could like finish the level. It could be an ammo stockpile. It could be a gun cache. It could be anything really. And by having this incentive, we've told the player that yes, this room is useful. This room can sort of serve me in some way. And really, at the same time, we've also eliminated the whole even sides thing. We've sort of tipped the balance in the player's favor by adding in this sort of back entrance here. We've given the player the option, we've given the player an option to take the enemy by surprise by sneaking around the sides and going in through the back. But at the same time, if the AI is smart enough, they might also be able to use that as well. And it sort of breaks the continuity cycle. It makes things just a little bit more random. So hopefully you learned something from this video. I know it's a lot shorter and probably less informative than all my other videos, but it will come together very soon when I start putting up the rest of this particular mini series. And really by the end we should be able to create a really interesting encounter zone, and hopefully you guys stick around because there will be more. Until then, I'll see you all later. Bye.